Welcome to another episode of In the Line of Wire. This is Jahara. I interviewed a young man who's working in a space that is not very common or commonly heard of. Awais Anjum is Managing Director of Numetrics, a company in Islamabad, which provides solutions for the semiconductor industry. Let's see what he has to say.
Numetrics is a lab in Pakistan for Numetrics Management Inc., which is a California-based company.
Right.
What we do as a company is we make enterprise software specifically for semiconductor companies.
Okay.
There's a huge problem with semiconductor companies that over 80% of their projects miss their deadlines.
Right.
And once they miss the deadline, the market opportunity is gone. So it's a huge loss for them. Using our tools, they can very easily estimate or predict at the start of their project the likelihood of whether they're going to make it in time or not.
Okay.
So either they can trash the project up front or put more resources into it or reduce the features, reduce the complexity so that they can make it in time.
Okay.
So at the moment, 6 of the top 10 semiconductor companies, they are our customers. In Pakistan, we are primarily focusing on software development. We have a team of around 25 people. And we're slowly and gradually expanding despite the recession. And we've been operating in Pakistan for the last 4 years.
Okay. Now tell me a little about yourself. What's your background?
I'm basically from Ahmedabad, studied at Ahmedabad Public School and college, did my FSc from there, went on to GIK. It was the first batch of GIK back in 1993.
Okay.
Graduated from GIK in computer science from 97, worked in Lahore for 3 years.
Then where did you work in Lahore?
It was a company at the time, Crestsoft,
Yes.
a premier company of the time. It's unfortunate that they don't exist anymore. In 2000, this was 99, 2000 time when there was this H1 hype. I got one of them and I went to US. So landed in California, worked in Silicon Valley for 6 years. During this time, I was lucky enough to get my part-time MBA as well from San Jose State University. I had always this thing in my mind that I wanted to come back. And I was actually waiting for my MBA to complete before I would go back to Pakistan. And I was looking for the opportunity if I could bring along business, specifically for my own company. And we all know that there is always this perception problem that nothing can get done in Pakistan. And I had to compete with the same perception. So my recipe was very simple. Let's experiment with this option for 1 year.
Okay.
Let's incubate. Let's not make any capital investment in Pakistan. Give me some, $20,000-$30,000 for a year. That's a very small budget. I'll engage the team. We'll incubate with some other company, and we'll see how it goes.
Right.
We did that. A very cheap experiment. We started incubating with one of my friends' company over here. We hired 4 or 5 resources, and we did wonderfully well for that 1 year.
Okay.
I was sort of coordinating this from US.
Okay.
And then when I was ready to come back, my company was ready to invest in Pakistan.
Wow.
So 2006, we became a legal entity, and it has been, I think, a wonderful story ever since. We've contributed great to the success of our company, and we continue to expand, and we continue to bring in more business.
Okay, so what kind of people work for you? What is the qualifications of the kind of people that you need?
So it's primarily software development,
Okay.
2 groups, development and testing.
Okay.
The basic criteria that you need to have bachelor's in computer science. Anything better than that,
Right.
That's more than welcome. There are, of course, exceptions because we have people working in the graphics and some other specialties, databases.
Right.
And we're not as stringent in terms of degree requirements for those kind of things.
Okay.
But when it comes to programming and testing, yes, that's the bare minimum.
Okay.
So we have people with bachelor's, we have people with master's. So that's the kind of qualification that we look for.
And was there any specific training that you had to give them before they became totally productive for your organization?
Absolutely. For fresh grads, it's anywhere from 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
For experienced folks, it's anywhere from 3 to 6 months, depending upon how quickly they're able to pick things up.
Okay.
And our challenge is on 3 fronts. One, it's a complicated domain in terms of understanding what happens in the semiconductor world and how their processes work.
Correct.
So that's a completely new domain
Yes.
for almost everybody who joins us.
Right.
Secondly, they need to understand our application. It has grown for the past 10 years, so it's a very, very complicated application. And third, they need to understand our technology stack. Although when we're looking for experienced folks, we're looking for some overlap. but you never get 100% overlap.
Of course not.
So
Yeah.
they need to get trained on the technologies that we're using. So, it's a spectrum of 3 to 9 months.
Okay. Now, in terms of what we can do as an industry, some things are already happening. What do you think are the kind of things that we can do so that we can grow faster and perhaps produce more companies doing the kind of thing that you're doing? Not particularly in the domain that you're in, but being able to address a need that the export sector requires.
I think the first thing is that we need to believe in ourselves, because if you're not sold yourself, you cannot sell it to anybody
anyone
else.
Yeah.
So you need to believe in the potential of Pakistan,
Okay.
and that's a change of mindset. That's the first thing that needs to be fixed, because if I was not sure about Pakistan and that this could be done in Pakistan, this would have never happened.
Right.
So I had to be sold myself, convinced 100%,
Right.
and only then I could pursue it. So that's the foremost thing. The second thing I think is the issue of quality. That I think we have some good schools producing quality graduates, but they're not enough.
Right.
At the moment, I think if you're looking for setting up a company that needs 30 to 50 people, that's a viable option to do in Islamabad. But if you're looking for hundreds of people, there aren't enough resources.
Okay.
You need to expand to Lahore, Karachi. So we need to get to a point where we can have larger concerns, larger labs set up in Pakistan. So we need to produce more people, and we need to produce more quality people.
Right. And how can we work with universities to do that? Because it's all very well to say better quality people, more human resource should be created. But what is it that we can do as individuals or as an industry to make it happen?
I think we need to create awareness at the university level, and more importantly at the grassroots level, of telling people that there is huge opportunity. It's usually, there was a boom of banking, there was a boom of telecom, and everybody would go after banking, BBAs and MBAs, and then they would go after telecom degrees. But they need to understand that IT is a very stable market, and there is an increasing demand in this market.
Right.
The only thing is that you need to have the quality in you. So I think awareness needs to, the foremost level is FSC and A levels, where maybe we need to talk to students and maybe their parents as well to tell them that there is a legitimate opportunity out there, and don't force your kids not to opt for IT. And then we need to engage with universities and tell students and the faculty as to what are the true needs of the industry. What is it that the employers look for when they hire fresh graduates?
Okay, right. So perhaps also what kind of growth they can see in careers in computer science, because sometimes what they think is that they just come into a company and all they do is code, and then what happens? Do they stay static at the salary that they enter a company, or is there growth that they can foresee without doing an MBA or whatever else?
Absolutely, I think that needs to be done. Actually, we have to do that even after we hire people. We
Right.
have to career counsel them that there are different career paths within every IT organization or software development organization that they can take.
Right.
If they don't have the natural talent to becoming a leader or a manager, but they are extremely good at being technically competent, they can have a separate path where they can choose to be an individual contributor, and it's as lucrative a career in terms of compensation.
Right.
But they come with the mindset that no, I need to be managing people for me to be perceived successful in the society. So we need to do this kind of counseling within our company as well. So, but yes, it needs to be extended to universities and schools as well.
Okay. Now, in order for kids to understand that they can have a viable career in computer science, when you say we should interact at A level in FSC, should we also be telling them what kind of skills and what kind of innate ability they have in particular areas before they can become productive to an IT company? It's not just computer science graduates that we need. We need also domain specialists and, as you said, graphic designers and what have you. But should we be telling them, look, you need to be good at maths, or you need to have an analytical mind and things like that? Is there some way to sort of judge before they actually get into a particular discipline?
Yes, I mean, it's very interesting that you asked this question. Actually, it's one of my favorite topics that I talk about at different schools, especially the graduating class. I tell them that there are 3 different aspects that we're looking for It is your analytical capabilities, it is your behavioral aspects, and then it is your skills, whether it's technical or managerial or finance related, whatever.
Yeah, because the skills can be taught. The
yes,
other
the
two cannot.
Can be taught. But the key thing to realize is that you want to be in a career where your natural talents and skills are aligned.
Right.
They're not competing with each other, because if they are, then you'll keep on struggling.
Right.
And it's more important to tell this or educate parents on this, that don't force your kids into careers which they are not made suitable for.
Or they'll be unhappy all their lives.
They'll be unhappy and they will not achieve a lot.
Right.
So I was giving a talk, I think last week at FAST, and I told the students that this was an IT graduating class, and I told them that all of you are not meant to be developers. Although all of you are graduating with the same degree, but all of you are not meant to be developers. And it is fine not to be a developer, even having a degree in IT.
Right.
And that's the kind of dialogue, open dialogue, that you need to have with these kids. That's fine. You can choose a career. Okay, maybe it was wrong for you to come into this degree in the first place.
But now you've done it.
Stop making mistakes.
Yeah, right.
Right.
It's time to stop.
Yeah. So from now on, pick a career that's more suitable for your personality.
Right. Right. Okay, great. Is there anything else that you would like to say that you think our listeners would like to know more about? Your company or the industry or the environment in Pakistan, what it is that we need to do to make things better?
I think if one thing that can be done would be to have local role models.
Right.
To have people from within our communities that young kids can associate with, who have accomplished a lot.
Right.
So that they can know that they can do the same thing.
Right.
At the moment, either we have too few role models, or even if there are, they're not well publicized.
Okay.
So people don't have the right kind of role models to associate with.
Okay.
And I think that would do wonders in terms of believing in ourselves and making that as Pakistanis we can still accomplish a lot.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jan.
So that was Owais Anjum. He, apart from introducing his company, he also spoke about the HR issues in Pakistan and what he is doing to address them. This is Jahara signing off from another episode of In the Line of Wire.